Welcome back to the best beverage in my glass. I got several glasses, so don't trust me. We're not putting beer into all these glasses. That would be a fun afternoon, but a very bad next day. That would be an awful next day. Now, maybe if you had a party. So one of the fun things I learned on my experiences with training for Cicerone is the wonderful world of beer glassware. And as you can see, and this isn't all of them, this is a majority of the styles, there's a lot to choose from, and it's really fun to learn the history on them. So this will be a high overview because I could just do American, well, I can't do American styles, and we'll get into that in a minute, but I could do all the different British styles, all the different German, all the different Trappist/Belgium. I saw a lot of these when drinking before I started learning Cicerone and the beer history, but just didn't have an idea and didn't know how in-depth it gets. So let's start with the most boring, and that stinks for America, but no offense, America, we are the shaker pint. How useless are we? We're not even a true beer glass. We're half of something you shake cocktails with. Thank you, Blue Stallion, for their anniversary. It does nothing but utilitarian. It's a multitasker. It's boring. It adds nothing to flavor. It adds nothing to look. But they're cheap as dirt. People can put a lot of their logos, things on it, and they're replaceable as easy as they can get out. So let's start with that. Just a shaker pint. Kind of boring. We will move on to where we started our craft beer movement. Thank you. We got our inspiration from England, and they had a version, because these do break all the time, but they're cheap to replace, so who cares? They came up with a no-nick, which is because of this little bump in the middle, so it's supposed to keep you from breaking these together. Unfortunately, me and the director know this is a lie because we've broken one of these. It does last longer than a pint glass, a shaker pint, but nothing exciting.
I think we actually dropped that one. The one
who knows?
And now we can't find a matching set.
No. Well, we can. We just
don't look hard.
No, we have enough room. And I have one for an example. Tulip pint. And of course you recognize that. Guinness, we saw it on my stream. It's also whatever Irish ales you'll have. Irish Red, Guinness, obviously. It's at least less boring than that. Does it add anything to aroma or flavor? No. Does it look a little cooler and a little more curvy than the pint glass? Yes. Now the British also have what they call a pub mug. Don't have one. Don't see the need in it. But it's about yay big, and it's got a handle on it, and it's got dimples on it. Nothing exciting. It's the glass version of probably the wooden version of what our clay version they drank with back in the pubs. Let's go to Germany, because these are, tell me that ain't a cool looking glass. So this is a Pilsner glass, and the reason Pilsner even came around is the beers were clear, and they wanted to show off how those bubbles come up, and it does. It just looks, I think Miller High Life is the most misleading tagline when they say the champagne of beers, because that's not true. They're awful, but it does look like a champagne of beer, especially when you pour it into something like this. It just bubbles up and looks real nice. Finally, we're getting something narrower where we can get a aroma and smell off of it, which is what we're really after, especially those nice, clean, noble hops you can smell in this. It's gonna lead to aroma. No offense to the British and Irish, but they're not known. They have hops, but it's not quite the same. Let's talk a Weizen. Oh, you didn't film up, cool. Now, thank you, director, because I've always wanted this style, because this style that's just slick looking. Curvy, narrow, widens up. I like the touches. I didn't even request this, but I like the touches on the bottom.
I'm sorry, wait. This is called just a wheat glass?
Right? A Weizen.
A Weizen glass, okay.
Weizen. It's German Weizen, so it's for the German wheat beers. Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, isn't that sexy looking? Oh, there is some, oh, that is unfiltered. Cool. So there's some protein haze and yeast still in it, but look how it bubbles up. You get this nice white head. Yeah, and you get all that fun banana runts, fruity POF plus, which is the yeast strain that they use on the wheat beers. Oh, it's just so good. It just smells heavenly. And now I drink. And you still can see the little bubbles coming up. Oh, nice. And I know you will share this with me because she does like a good yeast wheat beer. So that's, yeah, my Weizen Stefan Honor. Sure. Sorry, my German is awful, but this is one of the older breweries, the world's oldest brewery. It fits in your hand real well too, and it just bowls up nice, holds that head, shows off the cloudy which you want, and just gives you a great nose so you get all that wonderful yeast. That's what it's known for. Kolsch, which is a hybrid beer out of Cologne, which is a ale but made at lager temperatures because they still want to try it, uses a strange, and that's the only glass they use. I don't have a true strange. This is thank you from the void, but this is what they use their sake seltzers in. It's close. It's the same thing. If you order a Kolsch at Blue Stallion, you will get one in their glass because you've had it before, and I commented. I thought it was real cool. Does it do much? No, but it's kind of cooler looking. It
fits in your hand.
It fits in your hand well. It's smaller. It's a sessionable beer. They'll just keep on bringing and serving those forever. And they're very popular in the beer gardens during the summer months. Sticking to Germany, we have a Stein, which is kind of like their British version of the pub mug. This is just what used to be their clay glass until it turned into glass, so you could see the nice clear beer or lighter beer versus dark. Yeah, just unitary. And then finally, Oktoberfest. We all know what this one is. It's an October. It's called a mass, and it's a mass. It's a big bunch of beer. Thank you, West 6. Go, if you get a chance, go to their Oktoberfest. It's a lot of fun. They bring in an Oompa band, turn it into a true beer garden, serve a lot of their fest beer, because, yeah, I think it's fest beer. I think it is lighter. It's not as dark as a Marzen, if memory serves. Trying to refresh my memory. Nice. So we all know what that one is. Doesn't add much, I'll be honest, but it's fun to look and people like to drink it. And if I remember right, the couple of the YouTube videos we watched, you don't actually finish your beer when you're at Oktoberfest. You leave the little whatever is left, and then they replace it. It's bad form there to actually drink it dry. Yeah. Why, I guess if you're drinking that much, I'm sure there's stuff that comes out while you're drinking it. Yeah. Let's go down the coast to Belgium, because these are where they really start getting fun and cool, and even, although these two are sexy, but you get more and more specialized. These are tulips. And if you want to get really technical, it's stemmed tulips and of different sizes. This is from New Belgium. And Ethereal has one, although Ethereal, and it makes sense because I like the bowl shape so you can swirl it around, but it's got this great aperture, especially for your hazy or your IPAs. You want to smell them. These are going to get to that good, you can get a really good nosing on that versus, you can just look at the different size, the bowl shape, so it kind of traps those aromas and brings them up. And let's be honest, they're cooler looking. And then we'll stick in Belgium, but go to the Abbeys. If you went and ordered something other than a Chimay and asked to put it in a Chimay glass, they will not serve you that. You want a Chimay and all the glassware is dirty. If you're in Belgium, you just have to wait till, if you're just dying for Chimay that much, you have to wait till they're clean because they just won't serve it. They're all very specialized, and Chimay is one of my favorite breweries, so that's why we have that. And I like the style. You could swirl it around, bold yeast flavors, because that's what they're known, and also the wild yeast that they use. Really good nose. It's a chalice. And it's just, they're pretty. They're
Do
fun.
they all say Chimay on it? I mean,
If it's this style from this brewery, they all say Chimay.
okay.
Because remember when we did National Orval Day, it was kind of funny. We went to the beer trap. Fun thing to do. You guys should definitely go to someone who specializes in international craft beer to celebrate the day. But he had to actually start breaking into the stuff that they were going to just sell because they started running out of Orval glasses. So he couldn't put it in a Chimay. He couldn't put it in if you didn't have any logos on it, you can't have anything but their style glass. It's specially designed to get the best out of that beer for that glass. So every one of them are slightly different, but they're all going to be kind of that chalice style. And a little more liquid refreshing. Well, that looks beer clean. So for high gravity beers, this is a high gravity beer glass. They say a snifter, like for cognac and brandies. I like this style better. I mean, you can, especially if it's a smaller snifter, it makes sense because we have a few like baby versions that we've done for high gravity events. Those make sense because you control the amount, but just your regular snifter. These are for like your Russian Imperial Stouts that are barrel aged, your porters are barrel aged doubles even if you want to, or quads. Oh, barrel aged quads are great. But it can control the amount you're going to get. And it also has you're going to get a lot of intense flavors because it's barrel aged. So it gives you, it's kind of like a cross between a whiskey smelling tasting glass and a beer glass. And I like it as stemmed too, so you can hold it and you don't heat up your beer as much with your hand. It's there. So yeah, we got once again, Wessex, go figure. But we like their barrel aged beers. This is a throwaway. I like it, but it's not one of the recognized craft beer styles. Mirror Twin did Hazapalooza, and they're known for their hazy IPAs, and they're really good. But I like the aperture at the top and how it kind of bowls the bottom, so you can swirl it around, but it condenses all those wonderful smells right up the top. It's a great example of how you can look outside of these, because if you really want to. I've seen some wine glass. Little wine glass for the last brewery on the banks, the one in Louisville that we're going to go to.
Bourbon on the Banks?
The beer festival in Louisville.
Oh, the Kentucky Craft Beer Festival.
Kentucky Craft Beer Festival has a small wine version of a glass. So it's the same idea. You can control your amount, but you can smell it. So it's really nice. So that's beer glassware.
So how many do you not have? I mean, curious.
Do not have the pub mug. There are different versions of these. That's just a little. There's footed. These are both would consider footed, but there's stemmed and then footed. There is an alt beer glass, which is basically this, but a little bit wider for German alt beer. Willie Beecher, which I do like, and I probably would invest in one. It's somewhere a little smaller and a lot narrower than a Stein. It just kind of trails in. It bows out and then trails in a little bit. I like it because it's got a better way to sniff and get a taste of your beer. Strange we have, and then there's a bunch of different styles of tulip glasses.
And basically then that's just depending upon your preference.
Yeah. And then, everyone has their own version of that. maybe would get an Orval. I mean, but we do like Orval. And then, of course, the snifter, which I do have, but I like that style better, so I'm going to highlight that. So yeah, there's tons of different styles. You just run out of room, and how many of these do we have? I mean, say what you want. Does it add a lot to your beer? No, but it's cheap, and you can get these by the gross, by the pallet load. Put a logo on it, call it a day, go home. Like I said, doesn't hurt your beer. It just doesn't add anything. It's just kind of there. Versus you start getting the unique styles that show off the clarity of the beer, show off the clarity and intensify the smell.
You're only going to have that
once a year,
hopefully.
Once a year, and then you start getting to where you're going to intensify the aromas and really looking to highlight the yeast the hops in the beer, and then intensify the smells like a whiskey glass would. So that's glassware. It's the best beverage I'm drinking right now in my glass. Thank you, director.
You're welcome.
And by the way, I don't think you guys can see, but it is cloudy, which is supposed to be cloudy. A lot of wheat beers are unfiltered for Hefeweizens, so you get them. And over there, they might pour it and even ask especially if there's yeast left in it, how you want it. You're supposed to ask by serving, because sometimes at the very bottom you'll get some sediment. Do you want it on top or not? I've never really been asked, but that's read in the Cicerone for keeping and serving that you're supposed to ask. I just pour because, I should celebrate what the yeast have done for me. So I enjoy.
Yeast are very important.
Yes, they are. And they've been here all along.
Yep.
So I will see you guys in a couple weeks. We'll talk about the best beverage I'm going to have in my glass. If you like what I've done, I'm only going to get in this once. I should have started with it to begin with. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment below. Give me some great other ideas. I think there's some kind of horse race next month. Maybe down the road, about 70 miles.
Just a little horse race.
People, they might get together. They might drink something minty. They might drink something lily. Is that even a term, lily?
You made it a term.
Why
it's
not?
pinky. It's a pinky drink.
It's a pinky drink. And pinky drinks are for everybody. Don't let you tell. Do not gentrify drinks. Drinks are drinks. But we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. We might talk about a little horse race. Yeah, we'll see. Like and subscribe. Check me out. Comment. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Cheers.